What's going on, Guardians? It's Tizzle here. In this video, I wanted to bring your attention to the best perk in the game for dealing with champions, and that perk is Chill Clip. Now, a lot of you may already know about the utility of this perk, but a lot of other people may be new to Destiny and not understand how potent it is and how it works. With Lightfall, Bungie made a ton of changes to the game as a whole, and one of the best, most gameplay altering changes was the ability to have champion stunning capability intrinsically tied to certain subclasses. So before we get into the weapon perk, it is important that we understand the wording of what Bungie is saying in regards to being able to stun champions when running certain subclasses. I won't go over every scenario in depth, as I am sure there are other videos on this topic. Instead, I will just be discussing the ones that apply to the perk Chill Clip. So let's take a look. I want to start with the most annoying champion, and those are overloads. Overload champions move quickly and use their abilities frequently. You can stun them, preventing their health regeneration with arc jolt effects, stasis slow effects, void suppression effects, and then any seasonal overload weapon from the artifact. So with Chill Clip, we'll be looking at the stasis slow effect. So how Chill Clip works is direct hits with the top half of the magazine cause a detonation that slows nearby targets. You can see slow is highlighted blue. That means it is a subclass verb, similar to something like Scorch or Ignition on the Solar subclass. So the first shot of Chill Clip will apply slow. The second shot of it will freeze an enemy. It is also important to note that only the top half of the magazine does this. So on my Riptide, that means that the first 3 shots will apply slow, though in my testing and gameplay footage, it actually looks like 4 shots apply the slow. So it's nice of Bungie to round up when it comes to this perk. You can also get single shot weapons like a rocket launcher or breach grenade launcher with this perk. Both of these will apply slow on every shot. So as you can see in the background gameplay, the slow effect stuns the overload champion. If you are unfamiliar with champions, they all have a cooldown on how often they can be stunned, as evidenced by the little white horns above their head. When that goes away, you are good to stun again. One thing to note is stasis is notoriously horrible for dealing with champions. Overloads can regenerate their health, so sometimes they will do that even when frozen. And unstoppables can be stunned and then frozen, and then they actually often break out of their stun animation and then take far less damage and will rush you, even though you just stun them. So you just have to get used to the interaction of stasis on champions, because they do behave very weirdly when hit by stasis. That being said, Chill Clip is still wonderful for getting the stun off on them. Unless you are using a bow, you usually need multiple shots from a primary to stun an overload champion. Divinity is the only weapon that stuns immediately on hit, but a Chill Clip fusion rifle or any other Chill Clip weapon usually deals enough damage to insta-stun one as well. And one thing to note on the grenade launcher, it has to be a direct hit, so do not run proximity grenades as it will not ever work. So that shows the interaction of the slow effect stunning an overload. Next, let's take a look at Unstoppables. Unstoppable states unstoppable champions attack relentlessly and take drastically reduced damage. You can stun them, removing their damage resistance with arc blind effects, solar ignition effects, stasis shatter effects, strand suspend effects, and then the gear from the artifact once again. So again, we'll look at the stasis shatter effect. So what shatter is when you have an enemy frozen and then deal damage to break the frozen crystal encasing their body. So if we do this on an unstoppable, once we shatter the stasis, it will become stunned. One important thing to note is that even when the champion is frozen, it is not stunned. The crystal has to be broken to stun the champ. This is an important distinction because on the clip in the background, I shoot with my heavy when it is frozen and we only deal 32,000 damage. The follow-up shot hits for 103,000 damage. So basically, the unstoppable when it is unstunned only takes about 30% of your damage. The good thing about them though is that they do not regenerate health like the other 2 champions. So you can get away with not running an unstoppable mod, you just have to play very far back and passive and slowly whittle their health down. But anyways, that is how you can use Chill Clip to stun an unstoppable champion. So we had slow for overloads, shatter for unstoppables, and what about barriers? Barrier champions have nearly an unbreakable shield that activates when they take damage. You can lower their shield and stun them, preventing their health regeneration with solar radiant effects, unraveling weapon rounds, volatile weapon rounds, and artifact mods. So you'll notice stasis isn't on here. Now, barriers usually have a predictable shield placement, like you can anticipate when they will shield. However, they too act weird when frozen. Sometimes as soon as they come out of a freeze, they will throw their shield up. But if you freeze them before they cast their shield animation, they will just get stuck and not be able to put it up. So what you could do, and I don't do a great job of showcasing it in this footage, is you can freeze them, reload your fusion rifle to get a full magazine, and then shoot 3 shots again. This will shatter the crystal and then apply slow and then freeze again. So basically you just keep freezing them over and over again so that they cannot put up their barrier. With a rapid fire fusion rifle like Riptide, you should definitely be able to shoot off the shots in time to prevent the barrier activation. However, Deliverance is a precision frame, and this one would be very tight on the timing, and then the Orvindel FR6 is a high impact, so you likely can't do it with this one as the charge time is too slow and the barrier champion will throw up its shield. Additionally, if you are on a solar subclass like Hammer Titan, you can bonk an enemy with your hammer to become Radiant if you are running the right fragment, and being Radiant will give you anti-barrier rounds while you have Radiant active. So you can see my weapons have the anti-barrier symbol next to them whenever I am Radiant. So that's pretty awesome. So the god roll to me is a Riptide with autoloading holster and chill clip, which is what I actually rock. Ideally, accelerated coils and a charge time masterwork for the fastest freeze application possible, which is also what my roll has. Enhanced battery for an extra shot in the mag could be good too, but it may not actually be needed. Again, my mag has 7 in the mag, and it gets 4 shots of slow, so presumably 8 in the mag would also only get 4 shots of slow. But either way, it's not a bad perk to have. This is a crucible drop, so if you reset Shax's reward track a few times, you can actually get extra perks on your roll to increase the chance at a god roll. Field prep is also nice for a faster reload while crouching, and it has more ammo reserves. Not only is Riptide great for dealing with all manner of champions, it is also great for freezing high health targets. In this week's Nightfall for instance, it came in really handy on the tanky knights in the boss room. Freezing a major can be the difference between life and death a lot of the time. It can also freeze tormentors, making them easier to hit their crits, though they do break out of it quite quickly. It is also good for things like wyverns as they can melt you in a hurry, so being able to freeze them and put in some damage is really nice. Particularly if you have disorienting grenades on the chill clip grenade launcher from the duality dungeon, this will stun enemies and slow them, and the follow-up shot will freeze them. That has huge viability in endgame content for sure, where ads can melt you in a hurry. The ad clear on this thing is also great, especially if you are running a stasis subclass, as your frozen crystals can deal even more damage. And it can also build into the other synergies that the stasis subclass has to offer. But even on its own, it has great ad control capability, and it can allow you to close the gap by freezing enemies that are shooting at you. Honestly, the utility this perk provides is endless, hence why I wanted to make a video showcasing it, to bring to people's attention just how strong and versatile it is. But anyways, that is about it for the video. The changes to champion interactions has given us so much more flexibility in our loadouts. I love running with my Riptide as it is a jack of all trades and opens up my other weapon slots to run whatever I feel is best. I hope this video helped you out, and if it did, then a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. And if you made it this far, then I thank you so much for watching. Happy champion stunning, and take care.